Martin Owino, member for Diwa.
Madam Speaker, this opportunity is well appreciated. And allow me to say kudos to my colleagues who have sponsored this legislative proposal, Honorable Gishimu and also Honorable Muli. Madam Speaker, the bridge between the poor and the wealthy is education. And that is what is being attacked here, because the driver is the CDF. Many have talked about this. Just allow me to personalize it in my constituency, what CDF have done. Madam Speaker, since independence, Dewa constituency had no institution of higher learning until last time when I got in, and now we have KMTC with so many kids, over 100 of them. Now, Speaker, we have ICT, 4 of them. ICT hubs giving young people opportunity to learn how to do digital economy, courtesy CDF. Every term, we process close to 10,000 applications from poor families, and at the same time gives 40 bursaries, full bursaries, to kids so that they can go to school. Now those kids are at home. And honorable members, let us look at it this way. The children of the wealthy are not at home. They're the poor children from vulnerable families who are at home, and others are learning. And that will bring disparity even in the performances when the exams are taken. This is what we are saying here. I was able to do several classrooms, renovation, new ones. I have, I'm close to you, Madam Speaker. I have so many schools, over 200 schools. And all of them, most of them actually, since independence, some kids have never seen any cemented floor, and they're sitting on the ground. So I've managed to cement so many of them, build so many of them. There were no laboratories, laboratory equipments, and these kids compete with every kid, even Alliance. But courtesy of CDF, now they can level up and also compete like any other kid from anywhere. Madam Speaker, since independence, we have never had any DCI office. Chiefs were having barazas under the trees and going for calls in the bushes. You can't imagine. But right now, most of them are housed and also having decent sanitary blocks. Madam Speaker, there is nothing like emergency which comes from the county and the national. All the stormed houses or fire emergencies are catered for by CDF. So whoever is trying to belittle this fund is destroying the vulnerable families in our constituencies. They say this fund was for MPs. Why are the kids at home? Why can't they respond to their fortune? Even the sectors which we give money, a lot of money to education nationally, why can't they respond to the fee now? Because of no CDF, they are at home. That's a good sign that this is community-loved funding, and that should not be interfered with. There's also an element that the Treasury should take very seriously. The projects which were started are stalled because the funds are delayed. Now to redo them, because the overrun expenses will be there, they will be more expensive. So it's like government shooting itself on the foot. And Madam Speaker, it will be oxymoron if we in the House have the power and we continue to beg money to be released. I want to submit to this House, if they don't release this money next month, then we have the authority not to pass any budget in this House. Let us not do it. Even supplementary should not be passed in this House. Because we have the power and the authority and we keep on begging these guys. No. Let us say no. Let us put our foot down so that we can get the right for the people. Because it's not our fight. We are fighting for the people we represent. And we have to stand firm on this. Many a times we plead with the executive. It shouldn't be when it comes to monetary issues. The MP for Boshari talked well. 5% or percentum based on shared revenue is so little. Let's work for the national GDP or the total revenue, as one of the members said here. That is when we can get the stuff. Remember, most of the money remains here at the national level, and education is not devolved. And yet, we don't have any impact of what they do on the ground. So we are trying to push as much as possible through this legislation. That's why we are saying let it be 5%, GAF also increase, so that even if they remain with 70-something or 80%, but we have pushed a bit, a chunk, to the communities. Last point, because I don't want to belabor much, many have been talked here. I think GAF also should be anchored onto law. I remember in Mboga'S, Honorable Wanga has done a lot of markets and also helping women with the training. That's a very important fund, should be anchored. As for the oversight, there's nothing like Senate in the Constitution. As we put it right, let it be a parliamentary oversight. Because we do oversight, but it was not anchored there. I mean, most of us were using their money to see that everything is done correctly. So if we have to have oversight funding, then let it be parliamentary, because all of us are members of parliament, including the senators. So if you single it out like this, it should not be well. My last point, and it's very important, this omnibus approach is not going to help us. Let us separate these legislations so that each can have its own merit, especially binding it up with this CDF, which we love so much. No. Let each bill take its course so that we can push this as fast as possible. And let it be known that releasing of the funds for CDF is not dependent on this legislative proposal, because the court did not annul the CDF, the NG-CDF. So let it be clear. All the opponents trying to advocate otherwise, they are doomed, because that is what it is. What was annulled was the CDF of 2013, not NG-CDF 2015. That is very clear. That's why we are not begging for the Treasury to release the money to the board so that our kids can go back to school and we can also finish the project. With that, Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Very well. The Honorable Dido Raso, member for Saku.